So I'm all set.
I will let everybody know that we're here. And if you could just kind of check out the YouTube real quick, make sure there's no echo.
Yeah.
I restarted the loop back, so everything should be good. Hello, check 1 2 3, check.
Yep, we're all good.
Awesome. Well, it is time to do a show. It is Monday at 6 p.m. Central, and it is time for some retro game goodness.
Yeah.
Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Greetings, programs, and welcome back to the Nerd Cave Retro Show. My name is Jason Robbins.
And my name is Derek Diamond.
And, well, another Halloween has come and gone, and I'm sad because Halloween is gone.
Is it just me? And I'm curious if you feel the same way. Did Halloween just kind of come out of nowhere?
It did.
And then, like, almost as quickly as it showed up, it just disappeared?
Yeah, it's so... this year has been so weird because some months have been, like, super fast, and some are, like, super slow. But October was one of those months where it just kind of started, and then now all of a sudden it's November, and I'm like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, and the thing with November is I feel like it's one of the few months out of the year that it could be really short. It could also be really long. Even though there's only 30 days, I feel like November sometimes takes forever.
Yeah, in the chat room, they asked if Neil was here. I'm slow.
No, he's no, Neil has the night off, so I'm his. You know how when you go to Walmart and you have like the brand stuff, and then you have the great value version? I'm the great value Neil Diamond,
Yeah.
so appreciate being here.
But yeah, Halloween's come and gone. I'm disappointed because we were talking with our good friend Joey Image earlier about not being able to watch some of the movies you wanted to watch. And this is the first year for Halloween that I haven't watched Halloween in like a decade.
Yeah, that was honestly shocking that both of you said that, because the two of you were the ones that introduced me to that movie. And I watched it, I felt like out of necessity after we did the Friday the 13th roundtable, because I felt like I needed to watch something good that was Halloween related.
Yeah.
I had to watch the taste of Friday the 13th out of my mouth.
Yeah, but I even bought I bought a DVD at a thrift store not too long ago, and it's the extended version of Halloween that they did for television, because apparently it wasn't long enough, so they had to go back and refilm like 9 minutes worth of footage, and I wasn't going to watch that this year, and I didn't get to do it.
Well, you could always still watch it. I mean,
I could.
Samantha and I actually talked about this. We're going to leave our Halloween decor up until at least her birthday, because her birthday's next week, and Halloween's her favorite holiday. And then after her birthday's done, we'll probably start taking everything down and then transition to Christmas.
Yeah, same here. We all of the Halloween stuff is actually on the kitchen table right now to be put away. So,
but Nunya actually has an interesting question, and I've been curious about this myself. What shaving products do you use for your head?
This is not an endorsement for Dollar Shave Club, but I have been a Dollar Shave Club member for over 10 years now. And actually, they just sent me a new handle for the 10-year anniversary that I've been subscribed to them, and which is cool, because, I mean, how many other handles have you had that lasted 10 years? But yeah, I love Dollar Shave stuff. And I wish that we could get an endorse. If they would endorse this show, I would wholeheartedly endorse Dollar Shave Club if they gave us a sponsorship, because I use their stuff and I like it. I really love it.
Could use their stuff and actually, do the fine tuning on your head on the show. That could be
Exactly.
your endorsement.
And last time when I moved into the house here, one of my they send you the razors every month, but one of my shipments got lost because of the new address and everything. They immediately sent me out a new package, and they added some post shave dew that I really enjoy. A free thing of post shave dew. And then they said if it does show up, don't worry about it. This is an extra thing of razors on us, and it did show up eventually after the one that they resent. So it just got lost in the mail somewhere. So, but I did end up with 2 extra, razors for the month, which is nice because I'm having a new fresh razor all the time is awesome.
Yeah, that's high quality customer service
It is.
from Dollar Shave Club.
Oh, and Nunya, let me
Uh,
tell you, how the best shave you're ever gonna get is learn how to do it in the shower. I bought myself one of those anti-fog mirrors, and it's in the shower. I've been doing this for 20 years now, and I shave my head and shave my neck under here, I shave under there, shave my face right here, and then I shave my head. I do it all in the shower, and it's lovely. And then you step out, and then you slather on some of that post-shave dew from Dollar Shave Club, and you look like $1,000,000.
This will forever be known as the post shave dew episode.
I just like to say it, post-shave dew.
Yeah, it just rolls off the tongue.
But yeah, that's what I use. Dollar Shave Club, good stuff.
Sweet.
But what about you? You had today off, lucky.
Yeah, well, so that came at a cost, but I think it was a good reward. So occasionally I have to go to Tallahassee for my day job. And yesterday was the first day of 3 trips that I'm going to have to take to Tallahassee this month. But the fact that it was on a weekend, when we got back into town, my supervisor was like, if you don't have anything pressing to do at the office, don't worry about coming in. So I'm like, all right. So I took the day off, which was nice. That's one thing I like about my job is that if I work after hours events or if I have to work on weekends, however long the event is, I get that time back in comp time. So I could take like half a day or a full day off, and it doesn't go against my PTO.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to my vacation for over Christmas. I get 2 weeks off for Christmas, so that's going to be nice.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that'll be here before you know it.
But you know what got its hooks back into me over this last weekend, though? I started playing Aliens Dark Descent again, and it's you can play it on Game Pass right now. I started playing another playthrough of it. I already finished it, and then I started a new game plus. That game has a lot of glitches in it, but man, the game itself just overshadows all the glitches you run across. I love it. It's so awesome.
All you have to do is put about 50,000 more hours into it, and you'll be up there with Joey's playtime on Days Gone.
Well, I'm almost there with Resident Evil 4 because I've been playing that again today, too.
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I have my games, too, that, I go back to where it's like, even though I've played them several times, it's like putting on like an old pair of shoes or a comfortable shirt. It's just great to go back to. And that's kind of what I've been doing too. I've actually been going through a Game Boy phase.
Oh yeah.
Lately. I've played so I played through Super Mario Land 2 and then Wario Land, which is Super Mario Land 3. Started playing a little bit of Final Fantasy Adventure, which I'm going to review not next week, but at some point down the line, which is technically the first game in the Mana series, like Secret of Mana, Trials of Mana, which I did not know. So that's kind of a cool little bit of video game trivia, but
yeah,
it's good to go back and revisit games multiple times.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like the Aliens game, if you've never played that type of game, it's you ever played like the XCOM games? Like it's like a squad based kind of real time strategy sort of game. It's that sort of thing. And man, it is so granular and in-depth, and like the way you kind of level up your Marines, and you can switch out Marines because You got to put some of them in the hospital. Sometimes they get wounded on the little missions and stuff that you do, and you got to put some of them in psychiatric care. Then you get new gun, you upgrade guns, get new guns, dude. It's if you love aliens, the just go play it, because they captured something about aliens in that game that just it feels like the movie.
Yeah, I'll have to watch some gameplay of it.
It's so good. Please, just try it. You'll love it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely will.
But that is going to bring us to the end of our little beginning part here. And Derek, we got some news to get to. Do you want to get to the news?
Sure.
Here we go. And all of tonight's stories were submitted to us by Armez Jackson. And if you have a news story you'd like us to cover, send them to nerdcaveretro@gmail.com. And the first one is kind of awesome, because I reviewed this not too long ago. A rare NES platformer, Little Samson, is coming to the Switch in 2026. Limited Run Games has announced that it's bringing NES side-scrolling platformer Little Samson to the Switch in 2026. Originally released in 92, it was directed by former Capcom designer Shinichi Yoshimoto, who did Strider and Ghouls and Ghosts. You control one of 4 characters: the eponymous Samson, a dragon called Kakira, the golem Gam, and a mouse called KO. In more recent years, Little Samson has become something of a collector's item. You can say that again. They're like $2,000 a piece. It's infamously one of the more expensive NES games out there, with copies going for hundreds, if not thousands, of dollars online. Let's see. It's super. Hold on. Well, let's just say Little Samson's an awesome game. I'm not going to read the rest of the article, but Little Samson's awesome. If you've never played it, please get a copy of Little Samson. It's one of the best games you can actually play for the regular Nintendo. I mean, it's so good. I still can't believe they never put it on Super Nintendo.
You would think they would have, or they would have at least done a sequel and then put that on the Super Nintendo. I guess maybe it didn't sell well enough to do that. I'm not sure, but I remember you talking extensively during your review about how good this game was. And I think this is great because it's going to introduce it to a whole new audience that hasn't had a chance to play it, because it's so expensive.
Yeah.
So I think this is actually a great thing.
Well, I found a very legal way to play the game. What are you talking about, Derek?
Sorry, I blacked out for a second. Where are we? Welcome to the Nerd Cave Retro Show.
But yeah, it came out so late in the NES life. I mean, it came out after the Super Nintendo came out, which is honestly when some of the best games came out for the NES. This was one of the best games for the NES that just not a lot of people played. And I like you said, I don't think it sold that many copies. But if they would have put it on the Super Nintendo, it would have been one of the most, beloved games probably to this day. But I don't understand. There was so many good games in that era for the NES that they didn't port to the Super Nintendo, and it just boggles my mind.
Well, Nintendo got a Nintendo.
Yeah.
As they would say. Nunya, to answer your question about Aladdin, he asked, did you guys enjoy Aladdin? I guess it was called the Genesis Where You Reside. Yes, I enjoyed Aladdin quite a bit. I don't remember when I reviewed it. It's been a while, so you have to go back in the archives. But
isn't there two different versions too? Isn't the Super Nintendo version different from the Genesis version?
Yeah, you had games like that on occasion where there'd be like some subtle differences and sometimes pretty major differences between the Super Nintendo, Genesis, even Game Boy, obviously because of hardware limitations. But yeah, it's I enjoyed it. I've liked the majority of the Disney games that I've played. Let's see. Next up, we have from comicbook.com, Nintendo Game Boy Advance game from 2005 returning in 2026. Game Boy Advance game is returning 21 years later and via the Nintendo Switch, PC, and PS5. Those on PS4, Switch 2, and all Xbox platforms are set to miss out on the release. However, those on Nintendo Switch 2 will be able to play the game via backward compatibility. I wish they would say at the beginning what the game is.
Yeah.
This really annoys me. The Game Boy Advance game in question is a 2005 sci-fi RPG meets shooter from developer WayForward Technologies. In other words, the game in question is Sigma Star Saga. If you don't recognize this name, it is probably because the Game Boy Advance game was not that popular, nor that well received by critics, as evidenced by its 68 on Metacritic. Suffice it to say, it is a little surprising to see it returning. I vaguely remember this title, but I never played it, so I couldn't tell you whether or not I think it's a good game.
Yeah,
it's interesting that they're re-releasing a game that wasn't that well received. It says here it's going to be called Sigma Star Saga DX, which means there should be some additional features that might make the gameplay better or the game experience better.
Yeah, because
I have no idea.
It says the new release has been classified as an enhanced port rather than a remaster. All of the content and gameplay of the original, however, there are some changes for the sake of improvement. There's an improved map, additional save points, and enhanced dialogue. Maybe that's all it needed to make it a little bit better, because that's what a lot of games from then needed, was a better map system, which is one of the things I'm going to talk about in the game tonight.
It doesn't give an exact release date. It just says sometime in 2026. So,
yeah.
Oh, we'll see.
Yep, we'll see. Up next, we have from NintendoEverything.com. Limited Run announces over 20 new Nintendo Switch physical releases at LRG3 2025. That took place last week, I think it was. And there are 20 game titles getting physical treatments. The full roundup is as follows: Arrow the Acrobat Collection, Angry Video Game Nerd 8-Bit, Bad Cheese. You ever played Bad Cheese? I've had some bad cheese.
No, I'm more a fan of good cheese myself.
Yeah, me too. Broken Reality, Capcom Arcade Stadium, Cho Aniki Collection, Double Shake, Ernest Evans Collection, Fear Effect 2, Fuga, whatever that is, Iron Meat. That's what they used to call me in high school. Jay and Silent Bob, Chronic Blunt Punch, Little Goody Two Shoes, Little Samson, we just talked about, Neon Inferno, Onimusha 2, Samurai's Destiny. Love Onimusha. I've actually been wanting to buy a copy of that so I can review it on the show. Pinball Effects, Williams Pinball Anthology 1, Prison City, Renane, Sigma Star Saga DX, Slam City with Scottie Pippen, Respect Edition, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tactical Takedown, Toxic Crusaders, Turbo Overkill, Valiant Hearts Coming Home, and Xeno Tilt.
Yeah, that's a lot of games.
Yeah.
I think some of these actually sound kind of cool. Like, I'm intrigued by the Angry Video Game Nerd 8-Bit just because, like, those videos that he's done over the years have been so good.
I want to know what Iron Meat
I just wonder what
is.
they've done.
What the hell is Iron Meat?
That sounds like the a certain knockoff of one Anthony Stark.
Yeah,
if you know what I mean.
That was my wrestling finisher.
I won't go any farther.
The Iron Meat.
He hit him with the Iron Meat.
That's what we should add that to Joey's name. The Iron Meat.
But yeah, that's actually a lot that Limited Run is doing, and I feel like we're talking about them more and more.
Yeah,
in these past few weeks. So
they must be making a lot of
money. Some of these do intrigue me.
Yeah, they must be making a good bit of money to start getting all these IPs to put out physical releases.
I know. Let's see. Our next story comes from Kotaku.com. Fans have turned Simpsons Hit and Run into a Futurama game, and it's awesome. A demo for a free Simpsons Hit and Run mod that turns the beloved game into a Futurama adventure is finally here, around 4 years after the project was first revealed. Futurama Hit and Run is a still in development total conversion mod of 2003 Simpsons Hit and Run, a fan favorite semi-open world game based on the long-running animated TV show and featuring most of the original voice cast and writers. Hit and Run is one of those PS2 era games that has a large fan base of older fans who desperately want a sequel. But what's even better than a sequel? A whole new game based on a different animated comedy created by Matt Groening. The free demo features the mod's first level and is a small slice of the planned full project, which was first announced back in 2021. And there is a video of the demo that you can read or that you can watch on the article. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but I know I never played Simpsons Hit and Run, but I know it was extremely popular back in the day. So I think I love the concept, dude. Because Futurama was great back in the day.
Simpsons Hit and Run is such a great game, and knowing that there's a Futurama version, I would play this right now if it was available, like to purchase.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what comes of this, because this sounds great. Because I remember like yesterday when Futurama premiered. And I didn't complete the show, but I did really enjoy it. You know, my first few experiences watching it. So this should be cool.
Yeah, I watched all of them up until about the third finale, and I haven't watched this last season with the fourth finale in it. But I love Futurama.
Yeah, Futurama's great.
And this last story is from escapistmagazine.com. The A1200 Amiga homage from Retro Games is reimagined for full nostalgia overload. Way back in mid-August of this year at Gamescom, Retro Games Limited was teasing what was clearly a new modern-day Amiga emulation machine, the A1200. Let's see. Following the global success of the A500 Mini, which sold over 100,000 units worldwide, Retro Games Limited has once again captured the magic of a generation. The A1200, the machine that powered a decade of imagination, now rebuilt for the 21st century. Plug it in, switch it on, and step straight back into an era when games were bold, colorful, and full of character. Comes preloaded with 25 legendary titles, including Beneath a Steel Sky, Lure of the Temptress, Rough and Tumble, Defender of the Crown 1 and 2, and Turrican Trilogy, plus many more. Every game looks and feels just as you remember, only now with HDMI output, save states, and USB side loading for even more adventures. And the full price is, let's see, it comes out the 16th of June, 2026. And it has pounds here, 150 pounds. But what does that convert to in dollarinos?
Let's see. Give me just a second.
It's full size and comes with a working keyboard, mouse, and CD32 style gamepad. That's
just under $200.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
No, I don't think so.
This looks really cool. I might actually have to get one of these. I've always wanted an Amiga and just never could afford one. Even, and now they're like through the roof. You can't even find them anymore. But Amigas were always great. I've always wanted one.
I don't know if maybe it's just because these were before my time, but it amazes me that I see these consoles that look like computer keyboards.
Yeah.
And I wonder, how did these things work?
Well, it was back in the day, Derek, when we just plugged these things into a TV, a regular old, tube television. Put it on channel 2, and you switched your little thing from TV to computer, and then you started typing away.
Pepperidge Farms remembers.
Pepperidge Farm remembers. But that's going to bring us to the end of the news. And now we got some this month in video game history. On November 14th of 1987, Sierra Online releases Space Quest II: Valhalla's Revenge, the second game in the Space Quest series. Space Quest is something we need to go back and review too, because I hear so much about these Space Quest games, all the Quest games like Police Quest and Space Quest. They sound fun. I never got to play these games.
Galaxy Quest was great too.
Yeah. Dude, why did they never make a game for Galaxy Quest? Did they?
No, I don't think so. That would have been super fun though.
That just seems like such a missed opportunity.
Never give up, never surrender.
Never give up, never surrender.
Yeah, I've heard, in the same boat as you. I've heard a lot of good things about the Space Quest games. So yeah, we might have to add these to the reviews for 2026.
Yeah, they never put out an official Galaxy Quest game. That seems insane to me. Yeah, King's Quest 2. Nick in the chat room, Nick the horror game fan. Yeah, we never played any of the King's Quest games either. So I'm pretty sure they're probably available on, what's it called again, Derek? You always remember it. And
Playclassic.games.
Yeah, playclassic.games. They're probably all on there.
I would imagine so.
I would think so.
Let's see. November 21st of 1992, Sega releases Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for the Genesis, and I will go to my grave saying this, the best Sonic game ever made.
Never heard of it. Who is the Sonic character you speak of?
Oh, he's the one with the face.
Oh, the thing and the shoes?
Yeah. But not the other thing. Because that other thing is terrible.
Yeah,
we don't talk about that.
We hate that thing. Oh, and speaking of, we had a correction that was, of course, sent to us by the official fact checker himself, Mr. Wally Phelps. We were wondering why the Rare Retro collection wasn't on Game Pass. It is. I just never saw it on there, and then of course there it was, staring me right in the face. The Rare Retro collection.
Shout out to Wally for
thank you.
Bringing that correction. I think what I'm gonna do is when I'm on my Christmas break, I think because I have my PC is capable of playing Game Pass.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to get Game Pass for the PC so I can play the Rare replay.
Oh God, Game Pass is like $30 a month now for the.
Well, I'm going to ask for a nice little gift card.
That's
where
the
I don't
thing.
have to pay for it.
Actually, there's a hack right now that everybody's doing. If you go and buy the Game Pass gift cards, it's like it's for the regular price for the month of what it was like. What was it, $15 or $20 a month? Just go buy a year's worth of those up front and use them all for the next year, and you avoid all the price hikes.
If I had a big mustache, I'd be twirling it right now.
But you didn't hear that from me, everybody.
Geez, I blacked out again. I don't know what happened.
November 25th of 1996, Rare and Nintendo released Killer Instinct Gold for the N64 in North America. I can't say Nintendo tonight for some reason. Every time I go to say it, my tongue like hits the back of my throat and just stops.
Your brain's fighting it.
Yeah.
It doesn't want you to give Nintendo any credit whatsoever.
No, because Nintendo's being a butt lately, and we're just not.
Yeah. More so than usual.
Yep.
Yeah, Killer Instinct Gold is, I believe it's also a port of the Killer Instinct 2 that was released in the arcades. I played this very little. I like the original for Super Nintendo, so this will be another thing. I've kind of got quite a few reviews I want to do for 2026.
Yeah.
That I'll have to fit in with all my Zelda reviews.
Nick says the Rare Replay isn't available for PC, only the Series X and Xbox One, I think.
Well, in that case, I will not be getting Game Pass for my PC then.
Maybe you'd probably get it for pretty cheap on Steam, I would think.
I don't know if it's on Steam.
Let's check. Let's do some real time fact checking right now.
Well, while you do that, I'll read our last this month in video game history. November 14th of 2005, Nintendo's first mainstream online service, which was called Nintendo Wi-Fi Connection, is launched with Mario Kart DS and Tony Hawk's American Skateland. Now, I remember when this was announced, and I thought to myself, it's 2005, and Sony and Microsoft have been doing the online thing for like 4 years. and Nintendo is just now getting into it,
Yeah.
and they still haven't really got it right.
No, they have not.
And that was 20 years ago.
Rare Replay is not available on Steam either. What is going on, Rare? Microsoft. What are you doing? What are you doing, Microsoft?
Well, that sucks. Thanks, Nick.
Yeah. See, you just ruined Derek's night, Nick. Thanks. Oh, man. Well, that brings us to the end of this month of video game history. Before we go into the review tonight, Derek, do you want to do our Patreon shout-outs?
As always, we like to shout out our awesome patrons over at patreon.com/nerdcaveretro. We want to shout out the guy who needs no nickname because it's already great, Omnislick, Alex the Alley Cat, Michael Patrick, Justin Nispel, Riley, the official NCR fact checker Wally Phelps, Nick W., Eld the Zombie, Yup Fed aka Knife, Raven, Daniel Salmon aka Bethany Fox, our amazing Discord community manager, Mr. B. Res Coffee himself, Mike Eveland, the fact checker to the fact checker Tyler the Wordsmith Watson, Xblade07, the official NCR beat writer Armez Jackson, Carlos Longoria, better known as I Am the Rampage. Staff Sergeant Sketch, Gus and Penny, Matthew Salmon, The American Salad, Shooter McGavin's golf instructor, Mr. Potato, The Dream Chaser, violinist, pianist, overall enjoyer of music, the Iron Meat, Joey Image.
He's gonna hate that so much.
I'm convinced that if we ever meet in person, the first thing he's going to do is just knock the hell out of me.
Oh, man.
Oh, no, I love you, Joey.
The Iron Meat. That's so weird.
That'll be a one-time only thing.
Yeah.
And last but not least,
Mama Diamond.
Donna Diamond, thank you all so much for your continued contributions to keeping the lights on for us here at the Nerd Cave Retro Podcast. For as little as $1 a month, you get your own RSS feed with zero ads. If you want to hear this conversation and many others like it completely uninterrupted, it just costs you $1 a month.
Yeah.
And you get early access to our bonus episodes, which for the most part include commentary tracks for animated shows, live action shows, full-length movies. We recently did a Dungeons and Dragons campaign over the summer. And yeah, we've done all kinds of cool stuff. And I know with the holidays approaching, we gotta think of something good for November and December.
Yeah. Have we already done Planes, Trains, and Automobiles as a commentary
I don't think
track?
so, but that was gonna be my suggestion. Because I watch that movie every Thanksgiving anyway.
Yeah. I mean, we could either do that or we could do Dutch. Dutch is a great Thanksgiving movie.
Yeah.
I'm good with either one.
We'll put it in our group chat and see what the others think.
I'm sure. Pretty sure Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is going to win out, though.
Yeah. Fingers crossed, anyway. Yeah. So if you want to be a part of our awesome Patreon community, just head over to patreon.com/nerdcaveretro. And for new patrons, be sure to send us your social media information so we can give you a proper shout out.
And tonight, going to be talking about weird to hear this music. I actually put it in my notes that I kept expecting the Howard Shore film score when I was playing this game. And I was like, nope, it's not here. It's just regular old like Renaissance fair music, but it works. It works for what.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, It's okay. It's not great. But it's not bad. It's just kind of like I was expecting like the actual Lord of the Rings music, but this came out like 6 years before the Peter Jackson movie, so no film score.
Yeah, we'd have to take the DeLorean to the future and
Yeah.
bring it back in order to put it in the game.
But this is J.R.R. Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings Volume 1. It is a 1994 action role-playing game developed and published by Interplay Productions for the Super Nintendo, and it is an adaptation of The Fellowship of the Ring. The player begins as a game as Frodo Baggins and progressively acquires the remaining members of the Fellowship. As we all know, Samwise, Peregrine Took, Meriadoc Brandybuck, or Merry, Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli, and Gandalf. And so you start the game off in the Shire, and it kind of takes some liberties with the book if you've ever read the actual Lord of the Rings books, which is it's kind of weird because this is always kind of a Lord of the Rings type of time of the year for me. I always do a rewatch of the Lord of the Rings extended editions around Thanksgiving, Christmas. And I've also been re-listening to, now I've read the books before, and now I'm listening to the audiobooks the past couple of weeks, which is voiced by Andy Serkis that did the audiobook. So it's really good. So I've been kind of immersed in Lord of the Rings the past couple of weeks, but I never knew that they made a Lord of the Rings game for the Super Nintendo. It just never hit my radar. And then I was looking on my thumb drive not too long ago. I got a lot of Super Nintendo ROMs on a thumb drive, and I just saw Lord of the Rings. I was like, what is this? So I started playing a little bit of it and then did some research and found out, hey, they did a Lord of the Rings game. And I guess they thought they were going to do more games because it only is the first book, really. I mean, the game kind of ends, spoilers, it ends with you fight the Balrog, and of course Gandalf dies, and then the rest of the Fellowship leaves and goes to Lothlorien and meets the Lady Galadriel, and that's where the game kind of ends. And they never came out with a Volume 2 or a Volume 3, so I don't know if this game did all that well, or if it just sort of, did they only plan on making the first game? Like, I kind of don't get it. It doesn't really say much in the wiki here about the development of the game. Well, actually, it does. It says Volume 2 was meant to pick up where Part 1 left off, but due to poor sales, no sequel was ever released on the Super Nintendo. See, that kind of sucks because I did enjoy this game, but I can see why it didn't do well, because it takes a lot of liberties with the actual source material. Like, there's a lot of fetch quests type stuff with the game, and it doesn't really hold your hand either with what you have to do in the game. Like, when you are first, it starts off like the book. You get the ring. Gandalf tells you need to go get Samwise and Merry, and you need to go to Bree or whatever. But before you can do all that, you go meet Samwise, and he's like, hey, I can't leave unless I lost the gaffer's glasses. You need to help me get his glasses before I can leave. So you go to these caves in the east, and you find the glasses to come back and recruit Samwise to go with you, and then you go meet Merry, and then you do all this other stuff, and you eventually meet Tom Bombadil, but he's only there for like 3 seconds, and he helps you rescue the hobbits from who was it? Farmer Maggot, who he kidnaps Merry and Samwise, and it's just kind of that sort of thing. But then you got to go get Tom Bombadil, and he helps you rescue them from Farmer Maggot. But then you make your way through another set of caves across the river to get to Bree, where you meet up with Aragorn, and of course you meet up with then you go to. If you follow the books, it follows the books really well, but there's just so much that this game expected to do. And like I said, it's such an ambitious type of game to do, but it was just kind of limited by the technology of the time.
Well, and the interesting thing too that I'm looking at when I see this game, the release date. They talk about the poor sales being the reason why there wasn't like a volume 2 or a 3.
Yeah.
This game came out in North America in October of 94. The N64 came out like 2 years later.
Yeah.
So,
well, the
if you were
PlayStation's
gonna,
out like a year later too.
yeah, if you were gonna do the trilogy, this should have been like a launch title
Exactly.
for the Super Nintendo, or come out like a year after the Super Nintendo is on shelves.
And also too, I want to say the graphics are good for this game. It's a great looking game, but it's not as stylized as I would want it to be for a Lord of the Rings. Like the characters are just kind of plain looking. The only thing that separates the hobbits is the color of their cloaks. And then you get Aragorn, but there's no kind of detail to anyone. It's just kind of like you get Gandalf, and he's wearing the gray robes and the hat, but you can tell who everybody is. But they sort of look like characters from like Gauntlet. Like there's no kind of stylization to the actual characters, which I would have wanted.
They have kind of a simplistic look to them because I watched some gameplay of this earlier today, and that's one of the first things I noticed is that you can tell who is who if you know Lord of the Rings. Like what the characters look like by their costumes or like their hairstyle, and it captures that fairly well, I feel like. But at the same time, I don't know, like none of the characters have actual faces.
Yeah.
They're just kind of shapes that look slightly different than others. And that kind of surprised me coming from, one of the most revered like novels of all time.
Yeah. And if they would have been more, even if they would have taken like some of the characters and even did them from the cartoon, the 1970s like Hobbit and Lord of the Rings cartoon, and sort of made those type of characters, it would have been way more interesting to look at. And that's one of the big problems with this game is it's just not interesting to look at. Like it looks great, but there's nothing about it that's like, oh yeah, this is Lord of the Rings. Like it just looks kind of plain, and I hate to say that.
Yeah, and the game starts out fairly well, I feel like. Like the opening title is you're seeing like pages from a book.
Yeah.
Which I thought was apropos. And I'm like, okay, this is actually a good start.
Yeah.
And then I start watching it and I'm thinking, I've seen Super Nintendo games with like less clout or less of a name than Lord of the Rings that look way better.
Yeah. And you could tell what they wanted to do with the game. Like you could tell they really knew the source material, and a lot of love went into the game, but it just feels like, I don't know, maybe they were kind of constricted by time, or they were just, I don't know if they expected I don't know. There was just a lot I would have done differently about this game, especially things like a map system. Some of the cave, dungeons that you go into in this game are huge, and you can get lost very easily. And there's no map system. The only maps you have are very crudely drawn maps that are in the actual instruction book. And if you don't have the instruction book, you're kind of screwed. Like, luckily, we live in an era of the internet where I could look up those maps online. But if I had rented this back in 1994 and they didn't give me the book for it, I would have been completely lost. And that, and I would have never purchased this game. This would have been all right, I'm taking this right back to Blockbuster or whatever.
You would have had to do like you did with Metroid back in the day, just draw a map.
Exactly. But there's so many different caves and openings and exits, and you come out of one exit not where you think you're going to come out at, where it would make sense, but it's just kind of whew, man, this game's kind of big, and it's kind of confusing. And it, like I said, this game doesn't hold your hand with some of the stuff you have to do. And I had a good time playing this with a walkthrough, but without a walkthrough, this game would have been absolutely impossible to figure out what you're supposed to do.
And see, that's frustrating because there are a lot of games that don't have that balance. You know, like, yeah, I don't necessarily want like my handheld through the entire game,
Yeah.
but I like to have a little bit of direction of where to go.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of games from this time period are either overly simple or it's they just give you nothing
Yeah.
and they expect you to just kind of figure it out on your own.
And the thing is, there was like one part of this game where, like I said, the Tom Bombadil part where you're walking through the woods and you find this letter from on the ground from the Farmer Maggot or whatever, and it goes into your inventory. And you can go into your inventory with the select screen and all that, and you press on it, and if you read the letter, the other hobbits with you will go on ahead to Farmer Maggot's and they'll get kidnapped. And that's when you got to go to Tom Bombadil to have him come help you rescue the other hobbits. But if it wasn't for a walkthrough, I would have never known to do that. Like, that's like, there's no way I would have figured that out on my own.
Yeah, I feel like this game would have been, I don't want to say N64, but maybe like PlayStation. Maybe it was released a cycle too early.
Yeah.
Because I know the Super Nintendo had a lot of RPGs, and some of them are quite in depth. But I feel like something with Lord of the Rings that carries a certain specialty.
Well, because
that a lot of other franchises don't.
The Lord of the Rings, I mean, it inspired almost everything that we love that came afterwards. I mean, even like Legend of Zelda, was inspired by Lord of the Rings. World of Warcraft, all that kind of stuff was inspired by Lord of the Rings. So to take something like Lord of the Rings and make it so where you just don't know what to do, like, what are you doing, man? You have the most awesome source material of all time, like. And you mentioned that it should have been a PlayStation game. Nick actually mentioned in the chat room, he said next time do one of the Lord of the Rings game for the PS2. I really want to. I know there's Lord of the Rings games for the PS2 that I really want to try out because I have tried Lord of the Rings games throughout the years and never really found anything that I really liked. I even tried the online game back in the early 2000s. I didn't really like that one all that much. I still would like to try Shadow of Mordor, and it's on Game Pass right now. I want to try it. But yeah, Lord of the Rings. I don't understand why it has such difficulty being translated to a video game world, I guess.
I never played the game that I'm about to mention, but I had a lot of fun watching my friends play it. Was Lord of the Rings Battle for Middle Earth 2 for the Xbox 360.
Yeah.
They would spend so much time playing that game. It was either that or Halo.
Yeah.
Back in the day when we would all get together on weekends, and it was really fun. Just even kind of being an observer. But other than that, like, I don't really have any experience with playing a Lord of the Rings game. I didn't know this existed till you mentioned it in our Discord.
Yeah, I didn't either. And this, if they would have just made this more in the style of like Star Tropics or even Legend of Zelda, I just feel like it would have been, just make it more manageable. Like bring somebody in that knows how to push you in certain directions of what you need to do. But when you have a game that's just kind of like you're getting fetch quests and then things just kind of happen and it doesn't tell you what to do, that's really frustrating. and even a map system. Like, give me some sort of map, to look at. Like, when I press the start button to pause the game, there should just be a map there that tells you where you're at. That would have been the simplest solution.
Yeah, that's disappointing because this, like on its surface, it seems like a very, very good game.
Yeah.
But it seems like, with like the lack of map system, like the lack of really kind of any direction, that it's kind of one of those what if or what could have been type of situations.
And also, I mean, this game does have 8-player support with the Super Multi-Tap for the Super Nintendo. So you could have 7 other friends with you playing, Aragorn, Samwise, and Merry. And that would be really cool to have 8
Oh, that'd be
people
great.
playing. But is this the kind of game you want to play with? I mean, unless you have just 7 other super Lord of the Rings nerds that want to play this type of game, I wouldn't have in 1994, you know how many other Lord of the Rings fans there were in the world? I was probably the only one within a 100-mile area that even knew what Lord of the Rings was in 1994.
Yeah, I knew of the series, but nobody I knew really talked about it until the movies came out.
Yeah. And the only thing I can say about this game is it was very ambitious, considering the source material, but it suffers the same fate as other games that had the same sort of ambition. Much like Friday the 13th for the NES, it has great ideas, but was just limited by the technology of the time. I feel like this game probably would have been way better served if it was on PC at the time. I feel like maybe PC, you could have just done so much more. Instead of trying to make it an action RPG like Legend of Zelda, make it more of like a traditional, like Japanese RPG, or like, Dragon Warrior series or something like that. I think it would have been a better fit instead of trying to put it in a box. Like, I understand that, Legend of Zelda was huge, but not everything can be Legend of Zelda.
No, and when I think of Lord of the Rings, that's what I think of. I think of that traditional style of RPG, like not Zelda. Like, yes, Zelda has RPG elements, but I consider it to be much more of an action franchise. But Lord of the Rings, though, like traditional RPG, I like them. I don't love them. But with it being what it is, like, there's a reason why some of the licensed games are successful, because people who like the source material and also like games will check it out. And I agree with you. I think this on PC would have been much, much better because there wouldn't have been the hardware limitations that you would have had with the Super Nintendo.
And I do recommend it if you are a fan of slower paced action RPG games, because it's definitely the action of this game it's pretty bad. It's just kind of like stab, stab, something dies. Stab, stab, something dies. There's nothing really like Legend of Zelda has much better combat. It feels awesome to swing them, your sword, and then like do that little thing where the dash, and
oh yeah, with the Pegasus boots.
Yeah, the Pegasus boots. Yeah. Like that just feels so cool and just awesome. But this game has none of that. It's just it's as slow paced as the books are. So if you're a Lord of the Rings fan, you like slower paced action RPG types game. If you're a fan of either of those, I would say check it out. But if you're not into either of those things, this game's gonna bore you to tears. So it depends on really if you're just a Lord of the Rings fan. If you're a Lord of the Rings fan, I would say try it out because it is interesting and, sort of a historical video game for the Lord of the Rings franchise, but it's not something I would recommend really to anybody. I mean, it's fun with a walkthrough, but that's about it.
So what would you give this number score wise?
I mean, I would give it a 6. It's not. It's a little better than average, but also there's just so much about this game that just could have been improved.
Yeah, 6 isn't bad.
Yeah, I would say,
like you said, it's kind of.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's worth checking out if you're a Lord of the Rings fan.
Yeah.
And Nick in the chat room says Lord of the Rings games on the PS2 are similar to the Dynasty Warriors. So that sounds kind of way more interesting than what I played for the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, we'll have to look into the other Lord of the Rings games for the PS2 because those do actually, from what Nick was saying, they sound fun.
But that's going to bring us to the end of this episode, post-Halloween, pre-Thanksgiving episode of the Nerd Cave Retro Show. Now we're past we're past Halloween, and now I'm ready for the food holidays. I don't know about you.
Bring on the food coma.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. But what's going on in your world before we get out of here?
Facebook.com/Wired for Sound Movie. We are fairly deep into post-production, but you can still check out some of the content on social media. I don't know how far along it is on the edit. I'll have to get with Chad and talk about that. But yeah, you can see some behind the scenes photos. We're going to be posting more in the coming weeks. And you can find that at facebook.com/Wired for Sound Movie.
And my new band, Arsa, just dropped our first single on Bandcamp. It's going to be on Spotify and YouTube Music and stuff really soon. But if you want to go check it out right now, and if you want to buy a copy of it, it's only 50 cents on Bandcamp right now. Let's go to arsametal.bandcamp.com. That's ARSA metal.bandcamp.com. Our new song, Incannabulum, is out now. Go, and it's pretty metal, so if you're not in the metal, you're probably not going to like it. But go check it out over there on Bandcamp. And tell your friends, if you have friends that like doom metal and stuff like that, go check it out. So, Derek, anything else before we get out of here tonight?
I think that's it.
All right, I'm going to go eat me some leftover Halloween candy. And if you want to email us at nerdcaveretro@gmail.com. Want to leave us a voice message? Go to voicecast.app/NCR. You don't have to sign up for anything. You just go there, click the record button, leave a message, and that's it. It won't ask you for any info or your email or none of that stuff. It's absolutely free. Also, nerdcaveretro.com. That's our link tree. That takes you everywhere you need to go. All the social places, all the ways to give us money like Patreon, and the merch shop, which is at ncrmerch.com. Got all kind of designs for t-shirts, hats, magnets, bags, mugs, whatever your nerdy heart desires. If you can't do that, I know times are tough. You know what's free? Leaving us a review and or a 5-star rating on all podcasting platforms. Derek, please tell them what it's all about.
May the way of the hero lead to the Triforce.
Yeah.
Master Blaster runs Bartertown.
And that's an episode, everybody. I think I'm going to try to review the Warriors for PS2 next, if I can get to it. If not, I might have to do something else. But I do want to play that. I need to get started on it because I've been wanting to play it and I just haven't.
Come out to play, yay.
Come out to play, yay. I gotta watch. Maybe we should do that for Thanksgiving. I don't know. That feels like a Thanksgiving movie to me for some reason.
I'm up for whatever. I haven't watched The Warriors in a very long time, so that might be one that I have to do a rewatch before we do the commentary.
But we're going to go ahead and walk out the door. Let me put a little outro thing up here. Thank you all for hanging out with us here on the YouTubes, for hanging out in the chat room. We love all you guys, and we'll see you right here, same bat time